Hey, hey, beautiful people. It is 11:13 a.m. I missed it by 2 minutes. 11:11 on January the 30th, 2016. This is an unusual video for me because I have generally taught on the topics of ascension and um, and I've always known since I was a child that when the time came that the resources necessary to change this planet, which is I'm a volunteer of Archangel Michael's Legions of Light, that the resources would be available and made available to us to change the planet, and that we could do our mission in a very unique way as to what the current design was. When I was a baby, that was memories of the future, is what I call it. 53 years later, we're here. This video is unusual for me because I'm speaking from the field, and rather than speaking on the topic of how to go inside the heart to obtain the field, I'm speaking this time on how we can effectively change the exterior. We have a situation here in America where the corporate governments have literally taken over the world. And in America, we have a legal system, which is the U.S., not U.S., the British Admiralty Maritime Legal System, and we have a law system. And that law system is of the U.S. Constitution that is over the people for their life, liberty, and pursuit and happiness. And it's designed to protect the people. And all people in America are of that constitutional law, not the maritime admiralty law legal system that most Americans have been led to believe controls their life, and they are chattel being traded by the banks within. Basically, enslavement. It's a slavery system, a system of usury, a system of the corporations destroying the planet with planned obsolescence, creating economies of things that consistently break down and are destroyed and have to be rebuilt. And it's destroying our precious Earth, our spaceship, Gaia. And we have to change this situation. The time's come to change the situation. There's a way of doing it that would be militaristic that I do not see would benefit anyone. Many persons out there feel there has to be a violent revolution to bring the system down. In this video, it is my intention to project a thought to you so that you may understand how we can gift the system, causing it to collapse within itself. It's fairly simple, but it's fairly complex. And it can be only done with the backing of treasures and education of what has happened that created the system, that is the system, and that has really defaulted on the corporate system in the past years. We can bring this change over very peacefully if it's done in the right way. What happened in Oregon these past weeks has shown that the corporations absolutely do not care for human life. They're about the money, they're about their control and their system. This control comes from the top of the pyramid, the Illuminati structure. This control we actually put in place. This control is in place because the collective of humanity has chosen to experience this. We, as the persons, the volunteers here to change the planet, are here to bring in something totally new, very drastic. We can do this by gifts instead of war. Right now, because of the current situation on planet with all the countries, and especially here in America, as the economy is collapsing upon itself, we have the perfect opportunity to make our move. I was offered a position with this changeover on March 11th in 2013 when payments 1 through 11 were signed. That very day, John and Rena got in touch with me on Skype. I don't remember how it happened, and they asked me to participate. And I told of the difficulties that it would be in getting the corporate structure to back down, in my vision of how the enslavement system has been imposed upon the planet and its people, and how that would need to be defunct, as well as other options. And this has happened several times, not just with Mr. Sino's groups, but it has happened with Q Esther, Marcos's daughter. It's happened with the princess and others. And when I speak of these things that are so very critical to how we became enslaved in the first place, and are also critical to the changeover, I was dismissed. I think at time now, after what has just happened with Oregon and the FBI's shooting of unarmed citizens trying to take over the land and the resources that do not belong to the federal government, and the United States truly has no authority to own land and cannot constitutionally do what they have done. The critical time with the corporations, along with the collapse of the United States dollar, along with the stopping of all trade, there is at this moment not one cargo vessel on the high seas of the whole planet, because the US dollar is defunct. It is bankrupt. And the Chinese renminbi, gold backed yuan, is the next currency to be there. And until everyone is operating through that gold backed system, the whole planetary shipping cargo has stopped. We have a U.S. government that is ready for martial law here. Martial law has already been implemented in Europe. I have friends of mine in Belgium who are describing what's going on there. And this is getting ready to happen in the United States, this time without a bailout of the banks, but it's going to be a bail-in of everything that the citizens have in the banks, their 401ks, whatever they have in stock market, their mortgages, everything. And this could cause a very violent revolution, which none of us want to have happen. There's another way to do this. I was asked to consider becoming the Minister of Infrastructure for the Americas. That fits me perfectly. The prime directive I was given is how to disperse funds 1 through 11 to the people. I am very geopolitically aware. I understand that we want funds going to every person and every people on the planet. I also understand the three city-states, the Vatican, which controls the religions of the planet, the city-state of London, which controls the banking system of the planet, and the city-state of Washington, D.C., which controls the military on the planet, the wars. I understand their functions. What is going on globally is a few steps from a complete takeover of the sovereignty of all the citizens on this planet. But the situation is being orchestrated from Washington, D.C. The only way that we can really change this planet and I can implement the initial directive of payments 1 through 11 going out, whereas we can fund projects and change the way that we live in these houses, the way that we live in these vehicles, the way that our power is given, the way that we manufacture power and energy, to take us out of the banking system, to take us out of the usury system, to take us off the petrodollar. We have to change the existing system. I cannot just go out and disperse payments 1 through 11 that is being held in gold in Indonesia or in global collateral accounts where you have certificates of deposit which can actually be written against, I would suggest. And this is part of my plan. You cannot just jump into the existing system without having the system work with you. To take down the system like a coup is not a wise idea. My suggestion is to gift the system and to educate the system, and not to do the whole world, but to have a very fast campaign of education and of finances, just a touch, go to all the persons in the corporate structures, whether it be the localized militarized police, the FBI, the CIA, the sheriffs who are constitutional. The police are legal, they work for the corporations. The sheriffs are elected by the people, from the people, of the people. They are constitutional. The maritime legal system are all appointed and commissioned. It's the difference between lawful and legal. That's what we have going on in the United States right now. The difference between lawful and legal. What we need to do is to present education packages to all the persons in the corporate structure, whether and at the base of the pyramid. We are pulling the rug out from the base of the pyramid by educating and gifting those persons who are the grunt soldiers, who are the armed, forceful caretakers for those at the top of the pyramid. How do we do this? Because they're involved in the banking system too. They are involved in trying to get money to pay their rent, to pay their bills, to pay for gas, to pay for food, to pay their 401ks, pay for retirement. If we remove those soldiers and have them work for us, that is the best possible solution, doing it peacefully. How do we do this? We create educational packets, which, number one, describes what the Pope Francis has done in the default of all the planetary corporations. The Vatican city state was the ultimate first corporation. That city state allowed the kingdoms that became the countries of Europe to create their corporations under the Vatican. Certain corporations that was under the Vatican created the British Maritime Admiralty Law, the legal system. The Pope in 2013, after the One People's Public Trust was filed by Heather and sent to the Vaticans and the city states, to the United States Government Corporation, to the Federal Reserve, to all the various corporations, which they did not answer, which in their own legal system brought them into default, meaning they no longer have the corporations. They forfeited their ability to defend themselves. They went into default. The corporations are defunct. There was a group of us, including Kim Fuller, who did a remote viewing into the Vatican in early 2013 as Pope Benedict was still there. I was part of that group. I went in first to remove the energies and to create the light of protection around everybody who was going in later and doing the exploration. I was kind of like the recon that cleared the area so they could go in and get the information. Within a few weeks after that, Pope Benedict resigned, and Pope Francis became the new Pope of the Vatican. Pope Francis is interesting because he is both a Jesuit, which controls the Maritime Admiralty legal system, and which is the Black Pope, and he's also the White Pope. We always had two popes. Pope Francis is both in one. He's also known to be the last pope. In early months of his becoming pope, he recognized what the One People's Public Trust had done by creating the default of the corporation of the Vatican. And he himself wrote an edict which dissolved all corporations. By dissolving the Vatican, it brought down the House of Cards and all the other corporations globally. No corporation exists, and each person that was working for those corporations, hiding behind its shield of protection, unable to be sued as individuals, are now responsible for their own actions. Each and every person across the globe, it does not matter whether it's police, military, government officials, judges, the Bar Association, each individual can be sued as the individual now because there is no corporate structure that they can hide behind that you have to sue and infiltrate to bring them to a stop. This is part of the education system and an education packet that needs to be sent out to all of those persons who are the grunt soldiers for these corporations. We look at that as being in our police departments. We look at that as being in our local governments, the mayors, the city councils, the voted in people that are constitutional, as well as those who are appointed. The Maritime Admiralty legal system within the United States was created not necessarily to oversee the people, but so that the corporations, which became the governments, the city localities, the county localities, the state localities, could all conduct business and have a legal system that when they agreed to something became the law that they were using to operate the business and the structure of the infrastructure. I am being appointed to be the Minister of Infrastructure of the Americas, North and South America. I take this wholeheartedly. The legal system was designed so that municipality system could create roads, could have railroads, to have electrical power lines, to have bridges, to have dams and water resources, to create the infrastructure that is our modern day civilization. Pope Francis has brought down that legal system by edict. And we have to, in order to resolve the situation, we have to inform all those in the corporations that are backed by a militarized police, a militarized FBI, a militarized now even U.S. Postal Service, who has bought bullets. Why does the Postal Service, why does the Social Security Administration need bullets? That does not make sense, does it? We can't fight these guys with guns and do what we wish to do. We wish to do this peacefully. My suggestion is to send out packages of information with the Pope's edict, number one, with the difference between the lawful system, which is those elected of the people, from the people, by the people, that are for the people, which is law by the U.S. Constitution, dictating the difference between that and the legal system, which the municipalities and the states had to operate their business to create this existing infrastructure, and to show that that legal system was never meant to be upon the individual citizens of the United States, or really this planet. I cannot speak for Britain. I cannot speak for those subjects of the King and Queen of England. But I can speak for the American populace. And that is what my intent here is, because I am Minister of the Americas and I'm being asked to look at dispersal of these funds. How do I accomplish this without having these funds taken, without having a bloodbath, without having this oligarchy control the whole system? We can do this from Indonesia. We can do this by the mail. We can do this by gifts and printed information. We can obtain the names and addresses of all the persons in local jurisdictions, governments, to send them packages of information along exposing what the legal lawful system is, exposing what the Pope has done, exposing their situation now by not being under that corporate shield, and also giving them the first gifts. As of December 16th, 2015, America is bankrupt. We have no ships on the high seas bringing cargo in and out. We are getting ready to have some massive problems. What better way, in better time, to disperse the funds? But you have to do it the right way. We have no banking systems that can take the gold that is in hiding in Indonesia and deliver that to the people at this time. We have to set the stage so we can use the existing system. That is what this video is about. What we want to do is to send out the information packages to all the grunts, the soldiers at the ground level, in all the corporations, in all the governments, in all the legal systems, all the lawful systems, to the sheriffs, to the police, to the town aldermen, to the city councils, to the mayors, to those voted into office, to those who have been appointed into office in the legal system to control the legal system between the states and the municipalities. We have to inform these persons. And at the same time, it's my suggestion, since there's so much gold, to print out some gold coins to let them know this is real. On the front of the gold coin is stamped Swiss Indo. On the reverse is the United Nations, the new world government. We also wish to defunct the control of certain commodities that are being used in trade as money by this same corporate structure that is being used against the population of the world. It's my suggestion, after hearing some conversations recently, that we ship along with a 1 ounce gold coin with Swiss Indo stamped on the front and United Nations, the new United Nations Kingdom of Neo on the back, that it's pressed, that's turned into coin. We ship that out with a diamond for everyone, a real live diamond. Because if those treasures are there, if this is real, this is why I'm stepping in. If this is real, let's make this happen. If I'm the minister, how do I get it done? I'm telling you how to get it done. Without a bloodbath, simple and easy, letting the house of cards clap from the bottom level all the way down. We can take the value out of diamonds simply by giving everybody a diamond. And when I'm talking about sending these information packages out, I'm not just talking about sending them to the corporate people. I'm talking about sending them out to each and every registered voter, each and every person that we have listed in the Yellow Pages, which is all out of the internet. You can go to yellowpages.com, whitepages.com, and find out everybody who's got a telephone and their address, and you can download all that information. One click, boom, save it all. We ship from Indonesia an information packet, 1 gold coin, ounce gold coin, stamped Swiss Indo, United Nations on back, 1 diamond, and we ship it from Indonesia all at one time. It's got to be done very quick. The whole barrage is like a bombing campaign, all at one time, so it cannot be stopped. We ship to all the corporate people in America, all those that are registered voters, and all those who are listed in the white pages on the internet, where we can disperse this information of what's happened, of what's going on, of how to change the system, and we allow those people to say, no, we don't want this system that's pre-existing. We're not terrorists when we do that. We are gifting people when we do that. We are gifting people a diamond and a gold coin. And my suggestion is, let's take it a step farther, because in the future, we will need to have debit cards for this $1,200 per month to be dispersed. The problem that we have at this time is the gold is not in a bank that is having it being used as an already documented conversion of money that's backing it, like the Chinese renminbi, yuan already is. With that, we've got a problem in getting the money dispersed. So if we're mailing a gold coin and a diamond out, and by the way, when we mail these packages out, we do it through FedEx and UPS and other shipping companies, and we actually insure for the cost of that gold coin, the diamond, and the information within the packet, and it's all done by certified mail. Somebody has to sign for it. It might be shipped from Indonesia, but the return address goes to the United States. So we are mailing out our funds that, if they are not signed for by individuals here in the United States, it goes to a return address in the United States. It comes to the Minister of Infrastructure, or the Empress of the Americas, where it's received to fund the projects being mailed from Indonesia. That's how we get funds in here to do projects, or we get it to the people so that they can go, hold on, we have US fiat currency and getting controlled and enslaved by a system over here that is getting ready to try to kill us. Or it can be free. And if they sign and they receive the package and they go, reading the information and seeing the history of it and seeing websites where they can find more information, and listings of books where they can find more information, and videos of persons like me who are talking about it, and also at the same time talking about what the spiritual mission is, what the true history of planet Earth was all about, what Earth School was all about, and about the mastery that we are here to do and to grow into in New Earth. And that's been my mission for years and years and years, is to tell that part of the story. I'm just only now accepting and stepping in to the Minister of Infrastructure position for the Americas. But my mission is not just that infrastructure, but this infrastructure. How do we change the people on this planet? We have some people that will receive these funds and they will kill themselves by drugs and alcohol. Doyon did that with Native Americans. I am a Native American. I am, by the Bureau of Indian Affairs, a registered Cherokee. I can do ceremony with the Native Americans. I can go to Kivas, and then I can act as a white man too. And then I can act as a citizen of the organic states of America, the Republic. But I'm really a citizen of planet Earth, but I'm really a citizen of this galaxy, but really I'm a citizen of this universe. I'm one of Archangel Michael's legions. I'm here to end the duality experiment for this galaxy. That which we were all called here to participate in, that which resulted in the Ryan Wars, that which resulted in our closing of that part of the system and being contained in a more dense area of this galaxy that is on the outer edges. That which blew up planet Meldak and screwed up Mars, and we came here to Earth School. There's a whole history of how this occurred, and we have to awaken the planetary population as to who we really are, not these ego selves, and what we're really doing here. And we've got to stop this chaos before too many physical vessels are getting lost. And we've got to do it fast. So, to send out the packages of information to everyone in the corporations, everyone in the military, everyone in the Fed, everyone in the banking systems, everyone in the political governments, to all the registered voters, and to everyone that we can find that is listed in the yellow or white pages, either one, because we're not talking about much to do this when the figures are what I've seen. This is just a cakewalk. We have to set up the situation where the system implodes upon itself, and not where we've got to have a bloodbath or a war. This is changing the system without firing a shot, changing the system by gifts. Back to the debit card. The debit card, we have the collateral funds which have been placed into an account. These accounts have an account number. The future transfer of funds on a monthly basis will be through a debit card that each individual receives. It would be my suggestion to send out a debit card to each and every person that is receiving one of these packages with the ounce of gold in it, with a diamond in it, and to send the debit card saying, this is what we will be using in the future. And to base that, to give them the knowledge of those accounts. And if we can obtain the full routing information to those accounts and do whatever we have to secure those accounts, let the debit cards be taken directly from those accounts. This I will only talk about face to face with my ideas. I'll leave that at that. But to inform every person that is receiving a package that this is how the payments shall be made in the future. And with that information, allow each individual to make their choice. To stand up and say, what the heck? I've been enslaved and I'm being offered a way out. In the same packages, we need to also share how we're going to change the infrastructure. The easiest thing to do is not to start anew with the Venus Project. I am in full agreement of the Venus Project, completely. But we already have houses existing that people hold memories in that they want to stay in. They are in their comfort zone. As Minister of Infrastructure, and as knowing that Swiss Indo wishes to make full purchase and payment, releasing all debts of those houses, and to also know we have to put people to work. We have to give them projects. This cannot be just a giant party right off the bat. We've got to do something with this changeover. To retrofit all the existing houses to make them the most highly energy efficient houses. To have solar panels and wind turbines and geothermal, where that house can actually pay you and produce more electricity than it costs to live within. To have those solar panels and wind turbines generating hydrogen from fracturing water through the use of fuel cells and store the extra hydrogen that is not being used in LP gas tanks, which can be reused later when you need to produce more electricity, or also used in cars. We will retrofit vehicles too and turn them to electric. We will do this by use of PEM hydrogen, proton membrane fuel cells, which takes distilled water and separates it into hydrogen, and oxygen. When we save the hydrogen, we release the oxygen into the atmosphere. When we wish to create electricity, we take that hydrogen and pull the oxygen from the atmosphere, add electricity, a slight electric current, 12 volt, 24, 48, and it generates high electrical power when the chemical recomposition of the hydrogen and the oxygen comes back together. It creates electricity, it creates heat, and it creates distilled water. And we can build these in closed loop systems. This is off the shelf technology. We can convert every single house, every single building, and every single car that's out there right now. And anything new we can build in a new standard. But by this conversion, we can put people to work. we can change what we have here. We can take us off of the need to buy gasoline, which takes us out of the carbon emissions, all that whole infrastructure that was needed to have an economy built on oil. All the planned obsolescence that was built into it and all the pollution that was built into it, we can change that right off the bat. We can change the way our houses are. By paying for the houses, we're relieving the usury from the banking system and freeing the people of having to go to work all the time, doing whatever it is to make money that they need to do by changing the houses. The houses are producing hydrogen, just like the cars are producing hydrogen. Hydrogen, which recombined with oxygen, is water. It's the most beautiful part about this, and it's all off-the-shelf technology. We already have it. We can use the existing infrastructure of our electrical grid, not by pulling more energy out because we've got to build more things, but by putting the energy that we have left over back into it when we're creating too much hydrogen. And we can continue using the grid that we have, but without drawing more energy through that grid. We're using less by the houses, and we're putting that green energy back into the grid. That frees us from our electrical companies. That frees us from our nuclear power plants, which we've got a real issue with Fukushima and other nuclear power plants right now. What just happened in Oregon was all about the land that was being taken by BLM from the citizens that had uranium on it that's being sold to the Russians to come mine, and they're going to come around and sell us back the nuclear fuel rods that when are used in nuclear power plants, then when the uranium is spent, those fuel rods are spent, then we've got to have the wars so we can get rid of all the depleted uranium bullets that are made by George Bush and Dick Cheney and the Carlyle Group and all these wars that are all about oil and the bankers and the corporations that are stealing everything. So what we're doing by this gift and by this education system is bringing that to the halt by informing everybody, by gifting everybody. We're not starting a war. We're not starting a battle. We're giving gifts. We don't have to do everybody on the planet right at first. What we have to do is the most important part. I've been reading a book here since I got back from Louisville after I accepted the Ministry of Infrastructure position. And this book was written in 1894. It's called The Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East. And these masters said that the changeover for the whole globe in the spiritualism will start in America. I just read this 3 days ago. I was in awe as I'm having these downloads about how to change this system. I don't want to call it bringing it down because it's up to the collective to bring it down. It's the collective that allowed it to happen. It's a collective experience. For me to bring it down singularly would be karmic. I can't change another's life lessons, but I can bring them into a situation where they want to change their own life lessons. And that's how I see this. I don't see the need to start a big battle. Those masters in 1894 said when this goes down, it's going to happen in America. They told of motion pictures. They told of the technology that would be developed. They foresaw it. Those motion pictures are here right now. And once this goes down, what we need is a surrender within the ranks. Once we get the packages out to the grunts, to the soldiers, we're going to have to come back with a second wave that's for the administration and telling them they're now responsible. The grunts, their soldiers, are awake and aware, attuned. They've already received their gifts. We received we send a second wave of packages that goes higher up the top of the pyramid. Great ginger brew. Love this one. This is, I'll try it. We send a second wave of packages. This is America only. Later, we'll take care of the whole planet. We've got to drop those who are controlling the military and the corporations over the planet, those who are dominating their control over everybody else. We've got to take that off. But we don't do it ourselves. We let that snake bite its own head off. See what I'm saying? Good scuttle. Oh, wow. What beautiful clouds. Gorgeous chemtrails going over. We got to stop these chemtrails. It's the corporations, the only way to stop it. We send a second wave of packages, and those second wave of packages will be addressed to the higher ups, to those that have been overseeing everything. We send them an ounce of gold, a diamond, a card, debit card that relates to the global collateral accounts. Well, they will get their $1,200 a month in the future. And we tell them your position is defunct. The population has now been educated. The gifts have been given. Would you like to continue trying to enslave everybody in your own guise? Do what they will with you? Or would you like to use the existing system out there, the banking system, the existing infrastructure system, the existing everything systems that we've got out there that we really need? We can't just cut off the systems. We have to transition the systems. The second wave will be educating those higher ups that we need to use these existing systems, and we have to change the way that we think. We're not going to be out there trying to steal from the planetary population, out there raping to the land, out there just bulldozing things and killing things for the sake of the corporation. That's what's caused the problems on the planet so far. We have to change the way that corporations do business, and it's about serving the planet and about serving the people. It's not that we're reinstating the corporations. It's that each and every person has to work with those corporations with integrity as a law-abiding system, law-abiding citizen, law-abiding person with integrity for the people, of the people, and by the people, for this planet, for Gaia, for what it is that we want to take this planet and humanity into, for New Earth, for Neo, for God, Sky, Earth, for us. You know, when we're looking at our physical bodies in our ascension process, we have God, we have the sky, our chakra systems, we have Earth. Without being connected to Source, without being connected to Earth, this electromagnetic circuit within this physical vessel doesn't work. That's the exact same thing with everything that we have out there in technology right now, too. We can't just wipe it out. What we have to do is to educate, inform. We're putting a different type of electricity to it, different type of power. We use what we have existing out there. Anything new, we create in a new and different way. That's how we bring about the Venus Project. But we have to utilize what we already have. We have to deal with so many people not even comprehending what's going on the planet. They're not even awakened to who they really are, that they're a fantastically incredible spiritual being that's an ambassador of another civilization in space that's going through their ascension through the individual's eyes here. People don't even know who they are on this planet. It's going to take a while for them to get there. And that's what our mission really is. It's not just dispersal of funds. If you understand the gold and the diamonds, there's really no money. Money doesn't exist. It's an idea, it's a concept. It's something we've got to use because people believe in that idea and the concept. We have to show them that there's really no such thing. It was only a belief system, a belief structure. It was only bullshit, BS. That's what it was. And we have to get them to a point to where they don't care. Beautiful chemtrails out. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful chemtrails. I see it all as beauty. I see it all as an experience. I see it all as not something that's trying to kill me, but it's an experience. I've walked through some of the most dangerous hurricanes on this planet outside, and I did it because I was in a level of myself of magnetics that shielded me from having any issues. I was walking in my higher states of consciousness. And the real mission is, how do we get the rest of humanity into their higher states of consciousness? It's not about the stuff, it's not about the materiality. You know, all the Israelites, all the kings and queens of the house of David, including King Solomon, all the ones since the release of Nebuchadnezzar's captivity of the Israelites when they went up and over the Caucasus Mountains and became Caucasians and settled throughout Europe. They've been crowned on Jacob's pillow stone of materiality. That pillow stone was carried by the Israelites that became the lost tribes. And the kings and queens, until the Christ return, the kings and queens of the house of David have always been crowned on Jacob's pillow stone. That's the stone under the coronation chair in Westminster Abbey. It's been there for 2,000 years. They don't even know who they are. The people do not know who they are. One of the greatest things we're going to have to do when we make this changeover is an education program to use the media that's been used against the people that's created the brainwashing for an education system so they can understand how we got here, who we are, what's going on, what the mission is here, to guide them into a new way of being. We can only do this by using the existing system. It's not about bringing down and destroying the existing system. It's about the changeover and using it for the way it should be used for this time period of transition. In the future, we will not need these things. In the future, where we're going is into materialization, not manifestation by law of attraction by your magnetics, into materialization because you have utilized this vessel the way it's supposed to be used by developing your levels of consciousness all the way back through to the source that you came from, by using the universal energies to bring and slow those atoms' vibration into that which you wish to materialize in your experience here. Creating your own food, creating your own gold, creating your own anything, your house, your furniture. Eventually, that's where we're going. But we have to transition from this time that we're in right now into that. It's all about consciousness. It's not about a fight. You fight, you're in duality. The fight is between the left and the right sides of the brain. Good, bad, heaven, hell, light, dark, us, them, male, female. You, me. That's separation. We have to bring everybody into the wholeness in their heart. We have to utilize the wholeness of the system that's existing. Just as we go through our ascension in our physical vessels, and that changes our DNA, and that change of DNA integrates our higher levels of self, it changes every cell, every atom, all the magnetics to the atomic structure, the quantum levels within this physical vessel. As so above, so below. Many of us realize that within ourselves. But the real game is, how do we bring the collective into it? That's what these funds are about to me. Gold is not money. Gold's a vibration. Gold has a vibration that creates a portal, a vortex. If you understand how planetary vortexes work, and I work on planetary vortexes, I've been doing that for a long, long time. If you understand how they function, it's about the transfer of energy from the positive ether to negative ground through the circuitry, just like electricity going from a nuclear power plant through its step-down transformers, through the cables that are transferring it across the lands to the transformer in front of the buildings and structures, into the house, step down into the 120 volt, 240 volt that we utilize in our houses here. It's the same thing with the human body. It's infrastructure. We have infrastructure on the exterior. We have infrastructure on the interior. How do we teach everybody that infrastructure? How do we bring them into their higher levels and concepts of understanding? 55-55 is that laying down right there. That's the real game. And it's all going to be about education. And it's going to be about removing them from the existing system. And we have the capabilities right here and now. We don't need to fight. We need to gift. How do you gift without having it taken? How do you educate without having it stopped? We need to do a mail out. I have some persons I would like to bring on to this project, and we need to do it outside of this country, and we need to have the funding, and this needs to happen now. We're in trouble. We're getting ready to have martial law here in the United States, and after that martial law happens, we've lost this window of opportunity. That's how critical this is. It needs to go down now. I've stepped into my position since March 11th of, when was that, 2013, when the payments 1 through 11 were signed, and I was asked to come on board then, and nobody wanted to hear what I had to say. Might be a good time now that you listen to what I have to say. We're running out of time, and I feel if this came through the field to me, it was a download last night, that this is the way to do it. It's done by education, gifts. It's done by package to everybody in the corporate structure, and to everybody we can get a package to here in the United States. And it needs to be done from outside of the United States, and it needs to have a return address within the United States. So anything that's not received by a signatory of those insurance packages, so they can't steal them, is returned to the Minister of Infrastructure or to the Empress of the States. See what I'm saying? Shoot it down. If this is not a good way of doing it, shoot it down. Otherwise, get my butt to Indonesia right now. I need tickets. I need to be taken care of. I need a team. I need a think tank. We need the abilities to get this done. We need printing presses. We need an army of persons that are loyal to this cause, where the information's not getting out to anybody else. That's what we need. It needs to happen. It needs to happen fast. I only have one. It's 12-12 as I say that. Of course, 12-12-12. That was the changeover. What a trip. There's the information. I only have 1 hour on these videos with this system that I'm using. I think I pretty much got what I have to say on 58-58 as I look down. I think I have gotten everything that I needed to say. Done. The trumpets. You hear my trumpet blasts? Yep, I'm coming from the angelic realm. That's a trumpet blast I just let out. Shoot it down. If you can't shoot it down, get me over to Asia. Let's get this done. Let's get it done now. Love y'all. Bye for now.